Malcolm Joubert is the Business Development Manager for Beta South Africa. How are you, sir?
Hello, Glenn. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Lekker. He's the man who put this all together, and he made sure that we had cold drinks when we got back after Wade killed us up and down the rocks. Thank you for that. We appreciate
Pleasure. I knew it was coming on a hot day like today.
Yeah. Okay, tell us a little bit about Beta, what the plan is. I want to know about, first of all, the importers and the dealerships. How many, who are the importers and how many dealerships do you have?
Okay, so yeah, Beta has a history in South Africa, been around. Beta as a company is 120 years old, so they have been in the country before. And the custodianship for Beta always belonged to a gentleman by the name of Graham Harris. He looked after the brand. He was involved in the trial side.
Graham did trials. Is he still involved with trials?
So on the trial side, he's still the importer, but the fundamental shift came in about October of last year when a group called Rocksteady Distributors was appointed as the official distributor for Beta Enduro motorcycles in SA. And that was quite a fundamental shift in the way things worked as well, because we also got a direct channel into the parts network, which is a very important element of that. So Rocksteady is a group of investors that are passionate about the sport. They've always been passionate about the brand Beta. They love the motorcycles, and so it's a nice fit for them to be able to be involved. And yeah, as I think the crux of the matter is the new distributors are focused on, one, getting people to ride the bikes, which is what we've done today, and I want to thank you and your team for coming out, and also getting the parts supply. It's a critical element of it, and so all of our efforts are channeled around the systems and processes to make sure that we have parts in the country, that we can support the bikes going forward.
Right, let's talk about that.
So we have 3 dealers at the moment. We have in the Gauteng province, we have Russell Campbell Racing. Russell is known amongst the Beta community. He's been looking after the motorcycles that were brought into the country through the previous distributors. So Russ knows the customer base and has a large stock holding of the older bikes. We have Ride Motorsports in Durban. They are the dealer for KZN. And then we have Drumas Power Sports in Cape Town. They look after that region. Our dealer network will expand. We'll expand in Gauteng, and we will expand in other areas in South Africa as well. But really for us, it's a case of consolidating, making sure we've got all our processes in place and getting ourselves developed the right way.
Okay, talk to me about important stuff like parts and warranty. So I, Glenn Foley, want to go and buy a Beta. I buy it, I ride it in my typical fashion. I fall down a mountain, I break my ass, I break the handlebars, and I break whatever, and I need parts. What are we looking for in consumables? How long are you looking at, and what's the stock holding?
So our stock holding currently, before our initial stock order is arriving, in the next week, we have around 2.5 million rands worth of parts currently in the country. That has been built up just before the models that have come out. That's going to increase substantially. We know that we're setting up our national distribution network for parts and logistics. The system that we're on now as a direct importer of parts from Beta is we have not had a supply issue more than 7 days on a part that we can't get. So first prize is 95% pick local, and second phase is if we need to get it, we can import it through air freight. So far, it's working extremely well.
So 7 days max is what you've experienced today.
7 days is what we're experiencing out of
and that's on if let's say you have a crankshaft that blows or whatever. Are parts interchangeable with other motorcycles? I know in the old days KTM used to power these things. Beta now has their old engines.
There is some commonality. The current range has a Kahan carburetor, which obviously everybody knows. The race models have KYB suspension. There's a lot of parts that for instance, on the brake side, but a lot of the parts are unique to Beta as well.
Yes, I noticed they use Nissan brakes, and they feel
Nissan
really
brakes
good
on the front. So from that point of view, but Beta stocks all of that stuff. We get the factory. The one big advantage about the 2025 range is there's a lot of commonality between the cross pros and the racers.
Excellent.
So you don't have this diverse, different chassis, different motors. I think a lot of commonality with different settings, different aggressive patterns on the bike. So
brilliant.
Easy to look after.
Now the racer running quite a new suspension in the form of ZF. Tell us a little bit about that.
That's
please.
right. So ZF is a very well-established suspension brand in the world. Have a long history with Formula One. And ZF is very proud of the new fork that they've launched, the dual action fork. Beta is the first production motorcycle to have the fork on it, and we are very, very happy with the way it's going. I think on some of the feedback you'll hear the guys are very pleased with standard stock suspension. And then obviously on the race bikes, KYB, which is known to everybody. A choice for consumers. Take something that's easy to ride, nice to work with, and the race bike is exactly what it says on the box. It's
absolutely.
Aggressive race bike.
One more thing would worry me slightly buying a new, in inverted commas, brand, and that is reliability. To counter that, you were telling me a very interesting story a few minutes ago about some chaps down in Hilton. Three bikes were, what were your words? They were?
Well, they're the sacrificial lambs. The bikes
sacrificial lambs. There we go. They sacrificed three brand new
We're very
beaters.
fortunate to have Will Slater and Will Gillett on the team as far as development is concerned, and they've spent the last 3 months in probably, I think a lot of people will agree, one of the toughest enduro environments in the world in Hilton, absolutely pounding the bikes just to get the jetting right, to make sure that they really put them through their paces down there. The weather hasn't worked. The weather's worked in our favor from a testing point of view, so very happy with all of the feedback that we've got. Those settings get passed straight on to consumers. They will be available up on our website when it's launched. It's just a case of getting the bikes dialed for South African conditions, and we're very happy that we're there.
Malcolm, talk us through the models that are available in South Africa, please.
So fundamentally 3 models. We have the Cross Pro range, which is the intermediate range it's the entry-level hard enduro motorcycle for 70% of the market is going to be happy with the Cross Pro, and then we have the race model at the top. In those variants, 200s or 300s, but you can get a Cross Pro 200, a Cross Pro 300, or a race 200 or 300.
Brilliant. And behind you is the Cross Trainer. Tell us a little bit about that. How many are you bringing in? General consensus here, that is the perfect entry-level motorcycle, but it's also the bike that you'd want if you're riding super hard enduro.
Very much so. It's because of its low seat height and torque characteristics, very grunt, a lot of grunt at the bottom, just much easier to ride. In extreme tech, a lot of grip, a lot of balance. So that motorcycle, as I say, completely underrated. The secret is to ride them and really do the exercise that people have done today. So I'd encourage anybody that's interested in the beta, get a hold of your dealer. Let's put together a demo ride for you, ride across all 3 ranges. The bikes are not just bling. The race is not just with pretty bits on it. It's an aggressive mapping. It's got a high compression head. It's got a hard set suspension. The Cross Pro really is a different motorcycle to it. So yeah, get your dealer and get a demo together for it.
They really and beta dealers do have stock at the moment.
Yes, exactly. We have got stock. We've actually our last 3 shipments have been air freighted in because of demand.
Yeah.
And our next shipment is actually on its way again. So yeah, lots of demand. They have full stock of all the models available. Get to them and they'll set up a demo for you.
Well, there we go, guys. So that's what's happening with beta in South Africa. You're going to see a lot more of these on the start lines. Thank you for such a lacquer day, sir.
Pleasure. Thanks for coming out. We appreciate it.